Well, it's fantastic to meet you. I'm a big fan of you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Not only this film, but Shelter that you were in.
Oh,
That
thank
was
you so
fantastic.
much.
Obviously, people know you as Falcon in
Mm-hmm.
the Avengers, who's a very, very good guy. In this film, your character Marcus is kind of on the fence of good and bad. Were there any different challenges in that, and did you enjoy playing someone like that?
Well, for me, when I read the script, and I feel like you can't judge your character that you're playing as an actor, because as a human being, you don't judge yourself. You just do what you think is best for yourself. So there was never a point where I looked at it and said, yes, he's a bad guy, you know. He was just a different type of guy. He had different goals and different reasons for what he was doing. So I just tried to enjoy it for what it was, you know. He was a cop on the other side of the law, so what exactly does that entail? And just tried to have fun with that.
How was it working with someone like John Hillcoat? Because obviously you work with a lot of different directors. How different is he, and what's he like to work with?
You know, he's not very different. I've been fortunate. I've worked with some very good directors, and every very good director I've worked with has always been sympathetic and understanding to the actor's process. And John Hillcoat's the same way. I feel like as an actor, he puts you in a position to give the best possible performance, because he never limits you in what you want to do or how you want to grow that character. Which is fun when you go to set and you tell the director, I have an idea about this, or I'd like to develop this throughout the course of the movie in this way, because I feel like there'll be a greater payoff at the end, and he supports that, you know. So it was a very, very easy experience to work with him, and an experience I hope I have again.
Yeah, I've just met him. He's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
I'm a big fan of his work. Obviously, with the Avengers and Hurt Locker very early back in your career, you worked with quite a lot of ensemble casts. How does this one differ, and how did you enjoy working with Chiwetel?
Well, I think this stacks up in the exact same way as those other films. I feel like with this movie, you know, this is an extraordinary cast, and you have some damn good performances that are given in this movie. You know, I feel like with 999, like Hurt Locker, like I'd say Half Nelson, like 8 Mile, I feel like you had a bunch of actors that were all there for the right reason. You know, nobody did this movie to be cool or to look cool or to, you know, try and outshine another actor. Everybody played their role and their position in the film, which I think goes along with being in I guess, what would you describe them as? A group of guys that rob a bank. You know, if that's not a mob, what would you describe that as? A gang?
Kind of, yeah.
So if you're in a gang, you have to play your position, you know? And I feel like everybody kind of came to set and fell into position with this movie.
Yeah. Just aside from this, obviously, you're probably really bored of people already asking about Civil War. Very, 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 very close.
I have my Civil War answers ready to go.
A little check sheet.
Yep.
Obviously, we just had the new Super Bowl trailer. Have you seen any of the film yet?
Yes.
Is it? Do you think fans are going to be excited?
I venture to say that this is Marvel's best movie to date.
Also, I was going to ask you as well, obviously Deadpool's just come out. Have you seen Deadpool, and do you enjoy the fact that it's kind of different to all of the Avengers movies and stuff like that?
You know, it's weird. Like, I never grew up knowing Deadpool. I never read the comic. I'm interested to see what the movie's like. It seems like it's really gory. So I'm interested to see what the movie's like.
Have they spoken any about, obviously, Falcons in this one, in terms of a Falcon movie or any other movies that you're possibly going to be in? Have you got a long contract with Marvel?
I will not be in Deadpool.
Just very quickly, obviously, you're very Marvel, but obviously Batman, Superman's about to come out. I was going to ask you, if you had to pick, obviously, I know Marvel don't like DC, would you side with
I don't
Batman?
know why people say that. It's so interesting. I think it makes people feel good to think that on Marvel sets, we sit around and talk about DC movies, which we don't. But I feel like you always have to pick Batman over Superman. I feel like, you know, Batman's just a really, really cool character.
Yeah, he's my favorite as well.
And I mean, it depends. Like the Christopher Reeve Superman is a completely different story. You know, I've always loved, my favorite Batman was Michael Keaton. I feel like if you look at the Michael Keaton years, that's when Batman was really cool and really fun to watch, you know, and now we're into the tortured Batman, you know, which if you're a quadrillionaire, I don't understand how you can be tortured, but to each his own. If I was a quadrillionaire that got to hang out with Morgan Freeman, my life would be awesome.
Mine probably would be as well.
Exactly.
Awesome to meet you. Good luck with this film, Civil War, everything. And
Thanks a
thank
lot,
you for talking
man.
to us.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man. Nice to meet you.